Hey, what's up, everybody? I can't believe it's Wednesday already. I swear to God, these weeks fly by, but it's great to be with you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this hump day broadcast. We are cruising through and past the halfway point of the week. And yeah, we got lots of good stuff to talk about today. So let's start off by saying hello to all of our friends across the interwebs, starting over on D Live. Good to see Lino Vincent and Q-Boys, Jay the Jeweler TV over in the mosh pit. Hope you guys are having a great start to your Wednesday afternoon. Shout out to all of you guys on Rumble as well. Hit that thumbs up button for us as you come on into the door. And make sure you share that link to Esther G13. Joe Elaine, keeping it nice and cozy and comfy as always. Thank you, Joe. Spiky999. Brian 1871. What's up, guys? Good to see all of you guys over on Rumble, hanging out with us. Cloud Hub Odyssey, Twitter, YouTube as well. What's up, YouTube? I always forget about YouTube because we spend so much time away from the commie Marxist platform, but we are back over there, at least for the early parts of the show for the time being. But good to see you guys hanging out on YouTube as well. Imperial Jade's over there, Army Vet Trump Girl. Good to see you guys. You guys need to get over to pill.net and hang out with us over there. Much better place to chill. And yeah, let's go ahead and welcome in our friends on pill.net, the Comfy Bunker, the best place online and the only place to watch the second half of this broadcast and almost every broadcast here on 412 Productions. Let's see who is in there today. We got the Joyful Lily was in there first. What's up, Lily? Lightspear Lance, not far behind, followed shortly by Floyd Due Diligence. Great to see you. D. Richard out there as well. Delia checking in. Good to see you, Delia. Joe Elaine keeping the Comfy Bunker all cozy and comfy as well. Joe, again, thank you so much for all you do modding our channels. We got Patriot 714 out there. What's up, Patriot? And Q Hio 17, Pat McFly. What's going on, guys? Spiky 999, double dipping. Love to see it. Fazic in the house. Great to see you, Fazic. Barb Robbins out there. Space Cookie, how are we, guys? Good to see you all. Jenker 2 chilling with us today. What's up, Jenker? Glass, Wanda, Quiltanon. Great to see both of you out there. 2 Wildish Rose hanging out in the Comfy Bunker today. What's up? Rose, we got Dangleberry. What's up, Dangle? Hope you're well. Deborah R. Pip's mom checking in from abroad over in Wales across the pond. Shout out to all of our Patriots abroad today. Jenker 2, Shane RQ. What's up, guys? Great to see you both out there. We got Due Diligence dropping a cookie, our first gold pills of the afternoon. Thank you so much, Floyd. A bison Wagyu smoked sausage cookie. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can fill my plate with those any day. That sounds phenomenal. We got KC Powwow over there as well. Lyle and Jenny, Packers 412 in the house. What's up, guys? Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday. My good friend Philly 369 Garden out there. Philly, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Deborah Ars is one to go with the cookie from Due Diligence. Rock on. Thank you so much, Deborah. Really appreciate all the love and support. Roy Stones and Bones over on the West Coast. What's up, Roy? Dave MC, good to see you, Dave. Mr. Gerardo, good afternoon, sir. How are you today? R. Harold, thank you for the cookie. It's great to see you. Norm, Hang 10 Alien Surfer in the house. What's up, Norm? Good to see you as well. Dave MC, welcome. Spazzo Yeti says P2P, says howdy. Shout out to all of the P2P army stopping by today. Spaz, hope you're having the best Wednesday, my friend. It's great to see you. Paul Thaddeus, how are you? Good to see you. Baseman out there as well. Salty Ma'am 20 in the house. Captain Longboarder, welcome, 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 my friends. Good to see you all hanging out in the Comfy Bunker today. I see Bella 214 out there. How you doing, Bella? Good to see you. We got Timar in the house as well. What's up, Timar? And Paul Thaddeus dropping a cookie. Thank you so much, Paul. Poon Slayer. What's up, Poon? And P-O-E-D. P-O-D. P-E-O-D. I don't know. I'm doing my best. Good to see you out there. And is that everybody? Soldier American. Great to see you over on YouTube. I don't see anybody else popping in. Imperial Jade 2, what's going on? Welcome, Empress Bitch, to you. And where is everybody today? We've had a bit of smaller audiences this week. I just wonder if it's getting close to the holiday. People have other things to do. The news is a little bit dry. I don't know, but very rare that I run out of names with 2 minutes to go. Well, that's all right. We'll just go ahead and kick off the intro a minute or two early today, and we'll be back to start the show in just a few moments. So sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and let's roll.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted to MS7, now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all. I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall. We're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production. Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult Nero is the power that's controlling the flight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may either find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they're confined. They're just slaves in the system to the roles they're assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight. But I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, we're preaching with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only sending vibes to start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess. They want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful. Then you're gone. But not us. We're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adult Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adult Nero.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, tuning in for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. My name is Adult Nero. Many of you out there know me as 412. It is November 15th, 2023, and I am riding shotgun today with my good friend Tennessee Homesteader, and I see Drunk Pinata just started hosting us over on D Live, so I'd imagine he'll be up here and ready to roll shortly, very, very shortly. So looking forward to getting him on as well. TN, I heard your phone ringing right as we were about to go live. Are you on the phone or are you here to say hi?
I'm here. No, it was just probably some either the wrong number or something. It was a fax machine that was calling my cell phone.
Oh, weird.
No biggie. It's funny because we were talking yesterday about the Nazi thing and everything else, and I don't know if you have it in the stack today, but they're going crazy over it. And Damon, you know how he does the name Imani does the great videos. He did one exactly with Morning Joe team, and and it's hilarious. It's in our DMs if you want to play it later on.
Yeah,
If it's in the stack. If
well,
not, I'll do it as my exit.
yeah.
But
Well, no, we can play it now because we have a second. Well,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure Pinata is going to be jumping in here shortly. So why don't we give him another second and
sure.
we'll go ahead and do this. It's only a minute long. So
Aside from that, weather is absolutely. It was great today. It was in the low 60s.
that's beautiful.
Wonderful. And sunny, not a cloud. Now it's a little overcast and stuff, and gloomy-ish, which also helps keeping it warmer, right?
Mhm.
But, yeah, lovely day. I was listening to Pete, and he was getting thunderstorms in California. Not global warming, Oh, sorry, climate change.
Well, I'm glad you have some beautiful weather. We have really nice weather here too. It's 62 here. There's a few clouds in the sky, but it's pretty blue out. Very
Which is incredible. I mean, like 1 week out of Thanksgiving, right?
don't jinx it.
Great.
We'll ride this good weather right up through the new year. If we're lucky.
I actually can even take out my smoker and smoke some stuff. Usually I try to smoke something on Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving meal, and it's harder than hell because it's cold outside. So you can't, the smoker doesn't, it's harder to maintain temperature.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, it's great. I got two 7.5-pound pork butts right now, wrapped in all of them, seasoned, and I know you don't do pork, but seasoned, ready to go into the oven for roasting.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I don't eat pork, but man, do I
No,
like
I know
it.
you don't.
man, do
You're
I do it.
missing out you're missing out on that because pulled pork, yahoo! And I know.
Yeah, but very cool. Let's take a look at this video here because we start off with a little bit of levity today. Here we go.
It's not a reach. It's exactly the thing that Adolf Hitler said. He used the term vermin. So that's a statement of fact. And it's just playbook 101, right? For a dictator and authoritarian to dehumanize your opponents so that you can do things to them that then seem, at least to your supporters, fair and just in some way because they're not human.
William, the entire fake history media, such as yourself, compared Trump to Hitler from the day he took office, and still do. Yet he didn't suppress his enemies while in office, and he conceded to the election. So if he's a dictator, he really sucks at being one. Now, I wonder why you weren't outraged when the current president, Joe Biden, said that MAGA is an extremist movement that does not share the basic beliefs in our democracy. That's half of the people of the country, and he still uses that label to this day. And again, no outrage when Biden's Department of Justice labeled dozens of parents protesting pornographic books and the transgender agenda forced to their kids as a terrorist threat. Trump himself, his allies, and his supporters are being hunted by Biden's FBI and DOJ one by one right now. So my question is, what the f*** are you smoking?
Hoo-wee.
That guy's pretty good.
That was good. That was perfect, especially after yesterday, right?
The art is in the editing, like
Oh yeah,
he cuts it off, and then how he brings it back in, like it's pretty good.
he does pretty deal blending, right? That's pretty. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
Really good at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, good stuff, Tien, and glad you're here. We'll have plenty to talk about as we move through the afternoon. Drunk Pinata, great to see you up here on the panel as well. I saw you did at least some portion of your show today, man. How was it?
Pretty good. They're trying to make the case and trying to pretend that Fani Willis wasn't the one that leaked these videos.
Of course.
And how do I know that 100% that she's behind it? Because they try to say, well, this benefits Donald Trump. Okay. But the problem is that all of these videos of what they're saying immediately reinforce the narratives that they've put forth about that would be detrimental to Trump. They say, oh my God, he said he wouldn't leave the White House. Oh my God, he said he was told that he didn't win the election. None of that is new. And so what they're trying to do is they're saying, well, this benefits him because now people are going to go after these people because they told on Donald Trump, which anyone that knows these stories whatsoever knows that they're all manufactured bullshit, meaning they're trying to manufacture something here that doesn't exist. They're basically, this is another piece in their attempts of trying to jail Trump pre-trial. That's all this is, and it's pathetic, and it's absolutely ridiculous on its face. It's just.
Do you find it encouraging? I find it encouraging.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. When they have to do this kind of stuff and leak stuff about their own cases, that means they don't have a case. It's all public stuff. We've seen this, not in a sense, in the legal sense, but we've seen it with Mueller. We saw it with the impeachment stuff. We saw it across the board with anything that's a supposed scandal with Donald Trump. It's the same strategy from the media and the deep state every single time. It is they don't have a legitimate case. They're lying about something in particular it's important. I've mentioned this before. There's a one thing that kind of starts this thing off, and it's the biggest lie about the story or whatever narrative it is. And then from that point on, it's the lie about the lie about the lie about the lie. It's all bullshit from that beyond that point. And so it's the same thing here. I don't see it playing out any other way. Now, will there potentially be some sort of a jury conviction? We have to prepare ourselves for that. But I think if there's any sense left in common sense, the appeals is going to take care of this. At the worst case, the Supreme Court takes care of this. So,
did you see that she came out on an interview saying that the trial may last into 2025?
Yeah.
What a timing, right?
And part of that is because of Eileen Cannon. I think a lot of people thought that they were going to kick the documents case down past there because she was kind of telegraphing that, but she just moved up the filing dates ahead of the trial. But what that does is that still blocks off that May time period where Jack Smith can't do anything, Chuck can't do anything, and Fani Willis can't do anything about that.
Yeah, but that's only May 24.
I know, but by her not moving it, it keeps that block.
No, I understand.
Unavailable to them for their own moving the trial dates around for their own political purposes.
Yeah, but 2025, right?
Yeah, they're already talking about constitutional crisis.
Yeah, exactly. And the interesting thing is I think the whole aspect of the appeals, it's kind of interesting. Liz Harrington was on an interview and she finished her it was about the New York case, but she finished it off saying this will be taken care of in appeals, or words to that effect, kind of like dropping it, is basically saying no matter what they do, the appeal will win it, which is kind of interesting that she would even go to the appeal statement.
Do you know which case in particular she was talking about?
The New York case.
Oh yeah. They already know that's going to.
No, the point is she's bringing up an appeal. She hasn't done that before. That's what I'm referring to. They've never talked about bringing the case back up under appeal, whether it's New York or any of the others. They're now dropping the appeal term.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they're already kind of seeding the consciousness of the people a little bit with that. No, it's the timing of it all is going to be very interesting. In the Eileen Cannon situation, it's like her being the only seemingly fair judge handling any of this stuff. You almost wonder if she's holding that space to prevent Tanya Chutkin or Fani Willis or what's the other one? Alvin Bragg. Is that even still a thing? Is Alvin Bragg still even doing anything?
I mean, technically, yes, but is it a viable case? No, it's still the same bullshit case. Yeah. It's pretty clear now that the whole purpose of that one was to just break the narrative that, oh my gosh, he's been charged with a felony. That's it.
Yeah, I would agree. It was kind of the one to first through the door, get the most bloodied, to kind of pave the way for the rest of these to start coming down the pike as well.
Mm-hmm. For
sure. All right. Do you have any media you want to play, Pinata, or?
No, I think I sufficiently described what was going on. There is no outrageous thing. It's actually kind of sad in a way, but I don't feel sympathy because they're lying propagandists.
Yeah, no, it is.
But I
It
don't have anything in like a clip to show. I think I sufficiently explained it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's take care of the sponsors, and we got lots of things I have in my stack here to get into. So first, and only sponsor today is Earth Garden Botanicals, and we love Earth Garden Botanicals. I know you guys love Earth Garden Botanicals. How could you not love Earth Garden Botanicals? These products are amazing. They're made by an amazing patriot, herbalist, health coach, and just wonderful overall human being, Jolene, up in Montana. She creates these wellness products like the CBD oils, all ingredients for them grown locally on organic Montana farms. You got to love that. The flavors are great. The products, the CBD and hemp products are unbelievable. Whether it's the CBD oil tinctures, the CBD oil for pets, your Delta 8 nighttime R&R gummies for a good night's sleep. Don't forget about the topical cream with arnica salve for your sore joints and muscles. You can get that with or without CBD infused. If CBD products aren't your thing, you have your fire cider to clear your sinuses, breathe more clearly. Your elderberry tonic is great for boosting the immune system and helping you if you feel a cold coming on. There's a lot of great teas. If you're a tea drinker, you got to check out one of the 4 teas Jolene has to offer. There's a bunch to choose from here. They all taste great. They all perform a little bit of a different function too. So go check out the different teas she has to offer. And of course, you have your Critter Juice. Critter Juice is an amazing all-natural insect repellent. I swear by this stuff. Not only does it smell good, not only does it not leave you feel like you're wearing something gross and oily, but it really does a great job actually keeping the insects and mosquitoes away. I have had major success with this product personally. I swear by it. I will never use any other bug spray again if I could help it. This stuff does the job better and cleaner and just all around superior product to anything I've seen anywhere else when it comes to insect repellents. So go check out earthgardenbotanicals.com. There's a lot of other products here that I haven't even talked about, whether it's the colloidal silver, the lung guard or lung shield, excuse me. There's all kind of stuff here that I haven't even gotten into. Go check it out. Jolene is always there to answer your questions as well. She loves hearing from you guys. And we got our promo code over there, promo code 412 to get you 10% off anything you see here in this store. So go to earthguardbotanicals.com. Load up the cart. Again, another company that sells a lot of good stuff, that makes good stocking stuffers and good little gifts for the holidays coming up here. So take advantage while you can. And yeah, big thank you again to all of you guys who continue to support the show and our sponsors. If you're watching on pill.net, please be sure to hit that red pill button for us if you haven't already done so. And just as importantly, please hit the repost button as well. There's those 2 circular buttons underneath the red and blue pill. That's how you repost the show, kind of like a retweet, if you will. That's how you put it up on your pilled account as well. We really appreciate you guys doing that. Grab the link, share it anywhere you can. Those of you guys watching on Rumble, DLive, Odyssey, CloudHub, Twitter, and YouTube, be sure to find your way over to pilled.net. That is the exclusive place to watch the second half of the show today. So, if you want to come over and watch the second half of the show, that's where you do it. Those links are down below in the video descriptions for you guys to make it nice and easy. So please jump on over and join us in the comfy bunker, pilled.net. It is the exclusive home for free speech online. There's no other platform like it. And yeah, it's water under the fridge there, Trick Pony. Don't even worry about it, man. We move forward. Clean slate, all right, buddy. We move forward, and I think we have a good understanding. So let's just move on from it, all right, bud. I'm cool. You're cool. We're all gonna get along, and let's just let it go. All right, let's go ahead and start with this. Clay Higgins giving Christopher Wray the business over some interesting J6 stuff. Take a listen.
Director Wray. Last year, you might recall, sir, our exchange regarding the FBI's involvement on January 6th and prior. I'm happy to jog your memory to quote, according to the record, I asked you, did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol on January 6th prior to the doors being opened? You responded, I quote, again, I have to be very careful of what I say. To which I said, it should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol on January 6th. A year has passed. We sit here again a year later, we the people still do not have a definitive answer from you or anyone else in the Biden administration regarding the FBI presence and participation in the months leading up to the November election and in the weeks and days prior to January 6th and on January 6th here in D.C. We can't get a straight answer, although we have a tremendous amount of evidence harvested and reviewed over the course of the last year, which you will see. In September, Stephen D'Artano, formerly in charge of the FBI's field office in Washington, D.C., testified to the House Judiciary Committee that he was aware the FBI informants would attend the Stop the Steal rally thrown on January 6th. You confirmed that the FBI had confidential human sources at the Stop the Steal rally on January 6th here in D.C., sir?
Congressman, as we've discussed before, I'm not going to get into where we have or have not used confidential human sources. But what I can
we'll
tell
move
you,
on.
you asked for a definitive
We'll move
answer.
on. It's my time. You said no, you're not going to answer. That's cool. We're watching.
Mr. Chairman, may I answer the question?
Your moment will come. This is my time. Earlier this year, an FBI informant who is reported to have, quote, his quote, under oath, marched to the U.S. Capitol with fellow Proud Boys members on January 6th, close quote. He said he was communicating with his FBI handler while people were entering the U.S. Capitol. Can you confirm that the FBI had that sort of engagement with your own agents embedded into the crowd on January 6th?
If you are asking whether the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources and or agents, the answer is emphatically
You're saying
not.
no?
No.
You're saying no?
Not
Okay.
violence orchestrated
Let's
by
move
FBI
on.
sources or agents.
Are you familiar with you know what a ghost vehicle is? Director of the FBI certainly should. You know what a ghost bus is?
A ghost bus?
Ghost bus.
I'm not sure I've used that term before.
Okay. Well, it's pretty common in law enforcement. It's a vehicle that's used for secret purposes. It's painted over. These two buses in the middle here, they were the first to arrive at Union Station on January 6th, 0500. I have all this evidence. I'm showing you a tip of this iceberg.
Mr. Chairman.
These two buses
Mr.
are
Chairman.
painted completely white.
Point of order.
Point of order. Sure.
Just run over the time.
I understand, but you'll recall that Ms. Jackson Lee's been allowed to go 2 minutes before. I've been very fair in letting people finish their questioning throughout my tenure as chairman, and I'll continue to be fair on that regard. But I will make a note to the members, if you could stay as close within your time as possible. We have a lot of people that want to ask these gentlemen questions. So with that, the gentleman yields. But your point, I've been very fair in this, Mr. Ivey, with everybody on this side of the aisle just as much.
I don't think I accuse you of being unfair, Mr. Chairman.
You're making a point. Okay, thank you. I now recognize Mr.
May I
Gray.
close this statement,
No,
Mr.
no,
Chairman?
I think your time is expired, Mr.
I note that other members across the aisle have been granted time, and I object to my question being closed. This is a very significant hearing, Mr. Chairman, and these buses are nefarious in nature and were filled with FBI informants dressed as Trump supporters and deployed onto our Capitol on January 6th. Your day is coming, Mr. Ray.
Mr. Higgins. I now recognize.
Why are Republicans always so afraid of their own shadow? It just, for 4 years, from 2018 to 2022, we watched Democrat chairmen on these hearings break the rules, give absolutely no regard whatsoever to the rights of the minority within these hearings. I mean, it's one side's willing to fight, the other one wants to be liked, and it's so disgusting, it's so pathetic. But Clay Higgins starting to kind of put some more evidence out there in these hearings as far as the false flag nature of that day, with the ghost buses. I wish we could have heard and allowed him to finish his line of thought there, but he finishes it by telling Christopher Wray his day is coming. So I get the feeling that there's a lot more that is going to be coming out. I feel like J6 is one of those things that as more and more time passes, more and more that narrative is going to be dismantled, whether it's from the many hours of security footage that we're supposedly going to be seeing soon, or these hearings in Congress, or whatever it is. There's more and more and more of this story that continues to be exposed here. So shame on the Republican chairman there, whoever that was, Mr. Green, for not allowing Higgins to just finish his thought. Good job by Higgins by continuing to press and get under the skin of Christopher Wray a little bit. Do you guys have any reaction to any of what we just saw there? Pinata, I heard you kind of speak up a bit in the middle of it.
Well, I mean, it's deflection as usual, because they'll say, "Well, we didn't start or cause the violence." Well, but did you participate? But
right,
that was the question.
Right. And of course, they never answer these questions head on, never. So there you go. That's our opening little clip today. Brought to you by, again, Clay Higgins and this hearing with Christopher Wray and the FBI in the House of Representatives. Sticking with the feds, some other interesting news. And this is a few days old at this point, and I've just not been getting to it here recently, just because there's been a bunch of other stuff to talk about. But we talked about the prostitution ring. It says expect big names to drop. Feds will likely identify client list of Johns after high-end Asian brothel bust. Expect big names to drop in the federal government's Asian brothel bust that previously reported, the Justice Department on Wednesday announced arrests in a high-end brothel network used by elected officials, military officers, government contractors that possesses security clearances, lawyers, doctors, and more. According to the Justice Department, the ringleaders operated 2 websites to advertise Asian models for photography as a front. 3 individuals have been arrested in connection with operating sophisticated high-end brothels in the greater Boston and Eastern Virginia. Commercial sex buyers allegedly included elected officials, high-tech and pharmaceutical executives, doctors, military officers, government contractors that possess security clearances, professors, attorneys, scientists, and accountants, among others, the U.S. Attorney's Office of the District of Massachusetts said. According to the DOJ, the following defendants have been charged with the conspiracy to coerce and entice to travel to engage in illegal sexual activity. We went through these earlier, just giving you guys some background in case you missed it. Han Lee, James Lee, and Jum Young Lee. According to the charging documents, the defendants operated an interstate prostitution network with multiple brothels from July 2020 to present in Cambridge, in Watertown, Massachusetts, as well as in Fairfax and Tysons, Virginia. Quote, this case goes back to the summer of 2022 when investigators identified several buyers through surveillance, phone records, and interviews. Acting U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, Joshua Levy, said the buyers who made up this ring hail from an array of professions. He added there are doctors, there are lawyers, there are accountants, there are elected officials, blah, 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 blah. All right. So investigators suspect prostitution ring may have been part of Chinese espionage plot. We covered that as well. And it says the U.S. Attorney's Office did not disclose the client list. However, expect big names to drop. The clients or Johns were required to provide their full names and other identifying information, so the Justice Department has the receipts. The Washington Times reported it's not typical for the Justice Department to get involved in breaking up local prostitution rings, but the sex network bus federal prosecutors announced on Wednesday wasn't an ordinary operation. In a public statement, Justice Department officials only named 3 men arrested for running the operation. The clients' identities were kept secret, but it's unlikely they will be shielded for long. Clients were required to provide not only their full name and other identifying information, but an employer reference. Many of their names are now in the hands of the Justice Department. Prosecutors love to go after high-level folks because they can make a name for themselves, Mr. Rahmani said. Special Agent Zachary Miltilski, the lead investigator, said he believes there are potentially hundreds of yet-to-be-identified customers from different professions. He made a point of explaining why the Justice Department has not named any of them yet. I do not do this for purposes of maintaining their anonymity, but instead to do so because our investigation into their involvement in prostitution is active and ongoing, Mr. Middlewiski said. Criminal justice experts say it's likely federal prosecutors are working on plea agreements in exchange for cooperation from those they have identified as the brothel's clients. So this could end up being pretty explosive depending on who's all involved and how big the names are involved with all of this, but nonetheless interesting that they're expecting a lot of these names to be put into the public sphere. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you guys updated as more comes out. But I've been wanting to get to that, so just wanted to knock that off the top here. And then one more interesting little thing before we get into some more of the discussion based stuff, I guess, is Jeffrey Epstein's victims renew calls for Prince Andrew to meet FBI investigators as his friend Peter Nygaard is convicted of sexual assault. So Prince Andrew is not out of the woods yet, I don't think. But another week, another Prince Andrew sex assault related controversy, the Epstein saga being far from over. There is now another irritant in the mix. Disgraced fashion mogul Peter Nygaard. Andrew was reportedly Nygaard's friend, having been hosted by the Finnish-Canadian businessman in his estate in the Bahamas. Nygaard's recent conviction for sexual assault comes as another piece of the puzzle of the Duke of York's constant association with sex offenders. His longtime association with convicted sex offenders Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell have been explored in the media in a myriad of ways. 1,000 cuts to his frayed reputation, leading to his removal as a working royal and the loss of many associated titles and privileges. Andrew is now facing renewed calls to meet with FBI investigators after Nygaard was convicted on 4 counts of sexual assault. Quote, now victims of Prince Andrew's friend, this is from the Daily Mail, now victims of Prince Andrew's friend, pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, have accused the prince of being dishonest over his claim to want to help them get justice. Spencer Kevin, who represents several women abused by Epstein, says if Prince Andrew is innocent, he should provide a full interview to the FBI. His continued silence in the face of multiple close friends being convicted of sexual assault, Ghislaine Maxwell and now Peter Nygaard, reeks of guilty conscience. Another victim of Epstein's abuse, 35, said, Andrew's words were just hollow. It's clear to many he never had any intention of helping any of us. Andrew settled with Epstein's victim, Virginia Guffrey, for the reported amount of 12 million euro. Guffrey was Epstein's sex slave and accused the Duke of sleeping with her, a claim Andrew denied as he admitted no liability in the settlement. Remember, he couldn't sweat at the time, so it couldn't have been him in the club sweating on her because he can't sweat. He medically can't sweat as he was sweating his ass off through the interview. Anyway, so there you go. A little bit more in the world of the ugly world of Jeffrey Epstein, Peter Nygaard, and these prostitution rings, these brothels. Who knows what else is going on beneath the surface? But do you guys have any general thoughts on any of those stories before we move on from them? All right, then. If not, let's jump into some other updates. Trump files motion for mistrial in New York fraud case. A former President Trump's legal team requested a mistrial in his New York fraud case, saying the judge in the case and his law clerk exhibited bias against the former president. Well, that's putting it lightly. The motion filed Wednesday alleges that Judge Arthur Engeron and his chief law clerk engage in the appearance of bias that threatens both defendants' rights and the integrity of the judiciary as an institution. The request for a mistrial will be decided by Judge Engeron, who has suggested in court that he would deny the motion, telling the former president's attorney that he shouldn't file it. Later, the judge said his attorneys should file it in writing. Quote, in this case, the evidence of apparent and actual bias is tangible and overwhelming. Such evidence, coupled with an unprecedented departure from standard judicial procedure, has tainted these proceedings, and a mistrial is warranted, the Trump lawyers wrote in their motion. And it then cited a New York code stipulating that a judge shall not make any public comment about a pending or impending proceeding in any court within the United States or its territories. Regarding Judge Engeron's law clerk, President Trump's attorneys say that she made partisan political contributions in excess of strict limits to groups that opposed President Trump and supported Attorney General Letitia James, a Democrat who brought the fraud case against the former president. The clerk's unprecedented role in the trial and extensive public partisan activities would cause even a casual observer to question the court's partiality. Thus, only the grant of a mistrial can salvage what's left of the rule of law, it said. Previously, the former president has criticized both the judge and the clerk in this case on social media, prompting Judge Engeron to issue a gag order that bars him from speaking about his staff. Anyway, it goes into more background, but they're looking for a mistrial. It seems broken to me, though, like that you ask the judge that you're accusing of bias to admit that he's too biased to have a legitimate trial. It doesn't seem like a likely positive.
Well, the point is it's for appeals.
Right. I get it, but it's funny that that's even where it starts. You would think that you would start with the appeals court, like especially like I gotta understand one thing if it was something, you know, the prosecution did, right, to prompt the mistrial, then you ask the judge presiding over the case. But once the judge himself, like it seems excessive or superfluous to start with the judge who's clearly going to turn you down anyway. Like there's 0% chance the judge is going to admit that, you know what, I have been biased and haven't really done a good job being administrator of justice here. Let me go ahead and award you a mistrial based on my actions. Like I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, but the ruling can be based on the case being biased, not necessarily taking the ownership. And this could look at it as a means to give him an out, not necessarily trying to push him, but for the judge to have an out, because if it goes to appeal, he's going to look like shit.
What makes him look like more shit? And you think it would look worse for
that he's overturned for bias, that he's overturned because he was biased, because the prosecution and the judge colluded in bias. We see it, but the trial doesn't have that. We see it from our end, but the trial itself doesn't have that stigma. If it goes to appeal and it's overturned because of that, then it's attached to both of them.
Okay.
Legally attached to both of them.
I see where you're coming from.
So I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's easy for me to see that the Trump team is pushing it this way to give him an out.
No, I mean that seems reasonable to me. I'm curious. I mean, Pinata, you've been following this extremely close. Do you think there's any world in which Judge Engeron takes that out? Or no. Yeah, I don't think so either. But that would be pretty wonderful to see this get dismissed based on the bias of the judge. What's the appellate court look like?
Well, it's not the bias of the judge. You can't put it that way. It's the bias of the court. He doesn't have to take ownership for it. The court, which is the state, which is the GAG.
So the motion filed Wednesday alleges that the judge, Arthur Engeron, and his chief law clerk engaged in the appearance of bias that threatens both defendants' rights and the integrity of the judiciary and an institution. The court filing calls out Judge Engeron and his clerk specifically, so that they're not leaving that room really in the filing. If he accepts this, he's admitting that he has acted in a biased nature.
No, he's admitting that it has the perception of being of a biased nature and can have an out. He's not admitting to being biased. He's just admitting that the perception is, and therefore perception makes it real and gets out. I'm not saying he's going to do it. I'm saying that is the avenue that he's being given.
Yeah, I know, and I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page with that and just rereading the words. In this case, evidence of apparent and actual bias is tangible and overwhelming.
That's what the plaintiff, that's what Trump's team is saying. That doesn't make it real. I'm not saying that it's not. I'll drop it because it's just an aspect of looking at this from the court proceedings and the aspects of how they're playing the whole thing out. And yeah, the judge is biased. And no, he'll never admit to being biased, but he's being given an out by basically saying, oh, there's a perception of bias and I can't have that in my court. Turn it over to another judge.
I see what you're saying. So even though the filing calls him out specifically for being biased, tangibly biased, him granting the motion, but he could kind of spin it that I'm not biased, but there's a perception of it. And so because there's a perception of it, I'm going to grant the mistrial.
Correct.
I see. Okay.
I mean, that's a way to give him an out. Because if it goes to appeal, he's toast.
Sorry to harp on the point, but because I'm just ignorant. Like I don't fully understand all the legal stuff and how these courtrooms work. So it could just be me. But why wouldn't in this case then, if that was the strategy from Trump's team, why wouldn't they say, the appearance of bias or the perception of bias in this? I mean, they're saying tangible bias, overwhelming tangible bias.
Yeah, it's an accusation to the judge.
Right. But if you're going to give them an out, wouldn't you use like those softer words?
Not necessarily. It's like a barter type of thing. If you come at it and basically saying, I want, you ask high, I ask low, and we come to a middle, that's the barter. So in this particular case, they're making the accusation. They're saying the evidence is overwhelming. You don't agree. In essence, you overturn the motion. Then it's taken up into the appeals, and it's shown that's overwhelming.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of basically pushing him at the same time as leaving a door open.
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
Now,
that makes sense.
Is that what they have in mind? I don't know. I'm just saying I see it that way because why even file the motion then?
Right.
Why not just wait, like you said, wait for the appeal? Well, because at the appeal, you don't have, or Pinata mentioned, you don't have it already in there that you gave him an out because of this bias. And he's basically saying that he's not biased, yet you present evidence of bias.
Right. Well, I mean, I get filing this to get to the appeal. Like the Judge Engeron's going to say, no, I'm not going to dismiss this, most likely. And then he'll go to the appeals court and say, you guys should dismiss this based on this. So I get that you have to go one step at a time with that. If he was
just a ruling on the value of Mar-a-Lago would show that in itself is falsifying evidence.
That, and then he ignoring the higher court ruling.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so much to point to here.
Exactly. So they're basically firing a shot across the bow, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, no, I could see that for sure. Pinata, do you have any other thoughts on this particular situation here before I go to the next one?
The case is insulting to the intelligence of the American public.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Which you think is a good thing. And all these cases, when you actually look at the actual how they arrived here, what they're introducing, what they're alleging, they're all just laughable, and that's I think that's a good thing as far as with that is the state of these cases. Although I don't want to use too flowery language, but I weep that this is where our judicial system is. But it needs to be exposed, and it needs to, I guess, be hit rock bottom before you can have recovery, just like any other thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, let's do this one next then. Staying with Trump. Jack Smith wants Trump gag order reinstated in the election case. There's a surprise. The special counsel Jack Smith filed court papers Tuesday seeking to uphold a gag order in former President Donald Trump's 2020 election case, claiming the former president's public criticism of the prosecutor is a reason to keep it intact. Last week, an appeals court in Washington suspended the gag order, which was handed down earlier by U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan. The former president had appealed the restriction that were imposed by the judge, arguing they violated his First Amendment rights of speech. In a 67-page filing, federal prosecutors wrote that there has never been a criminal case in which a court has granted a defendant an unfettered right to try his case in the media, malign the prosecutor and his family. I mean, it's just so funny, like, as they leak to the media constantly to have this tried in the media. It's just unbelievable. While claiming that the former president has threatened witnesses and others. The filing makes multiple references to President Trump's post on Truth Social and elsewhere, saying that such comments necessitate the need for the gag order to be reimposed. It argued further that the former commander-in-chief has persistently used social media to make prejudicial comments about the case and its participants. Quote, in particular, the order leaves the defendant free to do virtually everything that he has claimed throughout the litigation that he must be able to run for office while defending himself in court. Federal prosecutors wrote Tuesday, and the distinctions it draws between criticizing the policies of a political rival or describing the prosecution as politically motivated on the one hand, and targeting trial participants or their expected trial testimony on the other is readily comprehensible. The order should be affirmed. Judge Chutkan's order had barred the former president from making public statements critical of prosecutors, court staff, and potential witnesses in the election case. He could still criticize the Department of Justice, the federal government, and the city of Washington. The District Court of Appeals lifted the lower court's gag order while it hears the case. The court is scheduled to hear oral arguments on the gag order on November 20th. When it handed down the order in early November, the appeals court wrote that the temporary pause should not be construed in any way as a ruling on the merits of the former president's bid to have it lifted entirely. Days before that, Judge Chutkan, who was appointed by the bench by former President Barack Obama, had reimposed the gag order after prosecutors claimed Donald Trump made social media comments about his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows. In denying President Trump's bid to block the gag order during the appeals process, the judge wrote in October that the First Amendment rights of participants in criminal proceedings must yield when necessary to the orderly administration.
They're still lying about the Mark Meadows thing, by the way. They're still saying that, oh, he flipped. No, and Mark Meadows, through his lawyer, said that was categorically false.
Yeah,
that there was a immunity or cooperation, but they're still running with it.
Who is it? It was like Washington Post or someone. Like who broke that story? It was one.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter, honestly. It's just
it was one of the critical.
But the fact that they have to run with it means that that's crucial or integral to their case. Meaning, you know what I mean? Meaning they have to have that happen. But maybe they were trying to force it, or they knew that Trump was going to comment on it, and then that would force this gag order. I don't know. Either way, there was the purpose was either to because it's a detriment to their testimony if Mark does not flip, or and even then, what testimony? There's no flipping here. I mean, I'm using their vernacular.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's all complete, utter nonsense. And I didn't believe that Mark Meadows story. I don't think any of us really believed that Mark Meadows story. We slapped the 72-hour rule on that thing. And that was that, because it turned out to be absolute nonsense. At least that's what it seems like at this point. It seems like it's completely false, according to Mark Meadows and Donald Trump. Although Donald Trump did have kind of an interesting tweet where he kind of left it open, like, I don't think he would do that. Would he? It was pretty interesting, but nonetheless, we'll see, I guess, next week whether or not this gag order will be reinstated. And again, if I'm Donald Trump, I am kind of just bulldozing through it. I am daring them to take action by like arresting me for my speech if I'm Donald Trump. You know, I am pushing the absolute limits of that thing, and going to see how serious they really are about it, because it's absolute nonsense that Jack Smith and his team can illegally leak this stuff to the media, have this tried in the court of public opinion while Donald Trump is gagged and unable to defend himself. It's utter nonsense, absolute nonsense. And the fact that he even says in his motion here that that he's trying to have the trial tried through the media by being able to speak online is just so funny. The projection there is unbelievable. So typical Democrat behavior by typical Democrat thugs, crooks and thieves. All right, so moving on, a big victory for Donald Trump. Michigan judge rules to keep Trump on the ballot. Suck it, Michigan. A Michigan judge echoed the Minnesota Supreme Court's recent decision that the 14th Amendment challenges to keep former President Donald Trump off the state primary ballot as he seeks re-election are premature. Michigan Court of Claims Judge James Robert Redford wrote on Tuesday that plaintiffs cannot show that they are entitled to a declaratory judgment because Michigan state law requires the Secretary of State to put major candidates identified in the media on the primary ballot. Yesterday, Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson did just that, including President Trump on the list. The judge's new order addresses 3 separate cases, one brought up by local advocate, another by Free Speech for People representing a handful of local voters, and one brought by President Trump. All 3 were petitions against Ms. Benson, arguing over whether her office had the authority to disqualify candidates from presidential primary ballots and whether President Trump was disqualified under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment grants citizenship and equal rights to all people born or naturalized in the United States. Ratified after the Civil War, it also included a section that prohibited those who had participated in rebellions or insurrections against the nation from holding office. Such challenges have been brought in more than a dozen states, and several have already dismissed several similar cases. Stephen Chung, Trump campaign spokesman, stated that Michigan joins Minnesota, New Hampshire, and South Carolina in dismissing these claims. Quote, each and every one of these ridiculous cases is lost because they are all unconstitutional left-wing fantasies orchestrated by moneyed allies of Biden campaign seeking to turn the election over to the courts and deny the American people the right to choose their next president, he stated, adding that they expect additional dismissals to similar cases. Meanwhile, plaintiffs in the other 2 cases related a joint statement announcing their intention to appeal the decision in the Michigan Court of Appeals and Michigan Supreme Court. Quote, the court's decision is disappointing, but we will continue by appealing this ruling to seek to uphold this critical constitutional provision designed to protect our republic, stated attorney Mark Brewer, claiming President Trump led a rebellion and insurrection against the Constitution and tried to overturn the 2020 election results. He is disqualified from ever seeking or holding public office again, Mr. Brewer stated. Yeah, we'll see. Judge Redford wrote that while the state secretary has the discretion to consider which media sources to use when putting together the candidate list, the political parties of the state ultimately finalize the list under state law. This, coupled with the Minnesota Supreme Court's recent analysis of a similar case, persuaded the judge to determine that primary elections are designed as an aid to the respective political parties in choosing their nominees at the national convention. For these reasons, the court would also not order the secretary to place President Trump on the ballot. The judge elaborated in a footnote, reaffirming the stance that the state law has outlined a clear procedure for setting primary ballots. Quote, the legislature has not provided any prohibition as to who may be placed on such ballots, irrespective as to whether the individual may either serve as a general election candidate or ultimately serve as a president if elected, the judge wrote. Judge Redford also echoed the Minnesota ruling that the issue was not ripe at the primary state of elections. So good news, at least for the time being, for Donald Trump and the MAGA.
That's the way it should be interpreted anyway. And when they want to say, okay, I mean, that was the judge's out. He's like, well, I can't do anything about the primary. But we've already seen, from what I understand, I was listening to, I think it was Robert Barnes over at Viva Barnes. He said that the precedent for this, there was other challengers for keeping people off the ballot, and according to legal precedent, only the party themselves can eliminate somebody from the ballot.
So there you go.
So beyond the other, the arguments that are dead on arrival on its face, with the 14th Amendment, Section 3, not applying to a president or vice president, and the fact that there was no insurrection. So if it doesn't even apply to, so first, there was no insurrection. Second, it doesn't even apply to them, even if it was.
Yeah.
And how do I know this? I read it. I use my mind and my eyes to read what it says.
How very rebellious.
And then you know what I did? I applied logic and reasoning. Oh my gosh.
A lot of work. It sounds like a lot of work.
Yep, you're right. We should just listen to MSNBC. They got it right.
Is there a hotkey or an app that can do that for me? I don't. Anyway.
But there's a podcast that can do that for you. Thinking Logically, 2 p.m. Eastern, weekdays.
Nice plug. Very nice plug. All right. It is 5 till the top of the hour. It is time to go exclusively into the comfy bunker on pilled.net. Thank you guys so much for tuning in all across the internet. I really appreciate all of you on Rumble, on YouTube, on CloudHub, Odyssey, and Twitter. I'd love to keep hanging out with you all, and you're welcome to continue hanging out with us over on pilled.net, the home of free speech in the comfy bunker. I'm putting the link in the live chats on YouTube, Rumble, and DLive. The links are also in the video descriptions for Rumble and DLive if you guys want to continue hanging out and being part of the audience today. Go ahead and click that link, or go to the description and click those links. It'll bring you right on in to pilled.net and the broadcast over there. It's a great chat, a great community, a great platform with tons of great features, and it's 100% free speech, man. There's no hate speech clauses in the terms of service. There's no big tech infrastructure. There's no app store or web services that can kick us off or leverage their services to make us censor speech. There's no big corporate influence either. It truly is a grassroots platform made for and by these communities, for the movement, for the America First movement. Again, the only true free speech video and live streaming platform out there is pilled.net. So please come over, check it out, get comfortable over there, come say hi to us in the chat, and be a part of the rest of today's broadcast. If not, no worries. Like I said, tomorrow is Taking It Back at 4 p.m. 50-50 chance of the show happening. I have a dentist appointment in the afternoon, so I'm not 100% sure I am going to be able to do tomorrow's show. It just depends on how long I'm there and how much pain I'm in when I leave. So we'll kind of see what happens with tomorrow's show. But for right now, it is time to take a little break. I'm going to play a little video that'll kind of help you guys find your way over to pilled.net if you're interested. And then we'll come back on the other side. We'll turn off the other platforms and continue exclusively again on pilled.net, the home of free speech. We'll be right back.
Pilled.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pilled.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@Pilled.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pilled.net. Free speech lives here.